I had to do a double take when one of my followers put this story up on Twitter. And the reason why I had to do a double take is because, not because of the person in which I'm talking about right here, but because this story is coming out of the same county, involving the same governor, involving a story I just recently uploaded on my channel. Like, I probably uploaded that video right before this one. And it caught me by surprise because that same governor who was no longer in office, his name is Governor Matt Bevin. He was the former Kentucky governor who pardoned the individual who just got sent back to prison for another 42 years. I forgot his name. His name escapes me at the moment. But when I saw that, I'm thinking this is the same story. I'm not going to do it. But good thing I went back and looked and saw that this was a whole different case. And that same governor pardoned somebody else. And it was this guy right here. And his name is Micah Shaletto. And this guy is a convicted child violator. And he got pardoned by that same governor that pardoned that other individual who just got sentenced to 42 years in federal prison for the crime in which he committed. So it seems like this governor, former Governor Bevin, has a soft spot in his heart for some of the worst people in the state of Kentucky. So I'm going to go ahead and read this article, and I'm going to see if I can find a picture of this former governor. It shouldn't be hard because he was a public figure. A northern Kentucky man convicted of repeatedly violating and sodomizing a girl when she was 9 to 12 years old, who was pardoned by Governor Matt Bevin, has withdrawn his request to expunge those crimes from his record. Bevin pardoned Michael Shaletto in 2019, just before Bevin's term ended. The former governor was criticized nationally for pardoning or commuting the sentences of more than 650 people after he lost his re-election campaign. I think now we have a motive. So because he lost, he wants to torture all the people that have a connection to these criminals. Shaletto, age 41 of Independence, applied to erase his conviction from his record back in December after serving a portion of his 23-year sentence, according to court documents. Kenton County Commonwealth Attorney Rob Sanders called on the court to reject it, describing Shaletto as a danger to the community. The lame duck governor granted the pardon because Shaletto's millionaire mother donated thousands to groups supporting Bevin's re-election campaign, the prosecutor wrote in court records. Now, here's another link to that previous story, because remember, they said that the other guy, the one who got the 42-year sentence, came from money. And they were basically donating money or giving money to this former governor. Now this person said that he has a millionaire mother that was donating money to his re-election campaign. So that's basically what he's doing. Whoever was donating money to him to, get re-elected or whatever the case may be, whoever was lining his pockets is who he was doing this stuff for. But the thing is, the people he was doing this stuff for, they are individuals who should not be pardoned. But because he ended up not winning, then he just went buck wild with it and just said, your pardon, here's a pardon for you, here's a pardon for you. Basically as a childish way of getting back at the people. This Matt Bevin, he needs to be investigated. Because I'm almost certain if he's doing all this stuff right here, I'm curious to see what was he doing behind the scenes while he was a governor. And that's probably one of the reasons why he did not get reelected. They probably saw something in him that they said, yeah, we can't have him back in office. This guy is not good for the community at all. Had he, Bevin, and they're talking about, returned to office, there is no way this pardon would have been granted, Sanders wrote. Instead, this unthinkable act became possible only because of the defendant's mother's wealth and the governor having one foot out the door. Like I basically said, because of this guy's mother having money, and because the former governor Matt Bevin on his way out. And they said it right there. If he had got back and got reelected, there's no way he would have pardoned him. He wouldn't have pardoned the other guy either. It's all basically in his form. It's his form of retaliation. When Shaletto's attorney filed the expungement request, he wrote in court records the defense was never allowed to present testimony and evidence that they claim proved Shaletto's innocent. innocence, excuse me. The request also claimed, according to a copy of it, a physician who examined the girl and found evidence that the girl had not been violated and the victim denied having contact with Sholetto. That argument is wrong, Sanders countered. A physician who examined the victim testified, but the one Sholetto is referring to in his request was not permitted to testify. An expert hauled on by the defense team explained that a lack of physical injury is not inconsistent with sexual assault. Dr. Makarov's testimony was supported by multiple peer-reviewed articles and studies confirming her conclusion. The expungement request is an argument against the evidence Sholetto's defense team introduced. Even more unsettling is the fact that the pardon issued by Matt Bevin in this case emphasized that a lack of physical evidence contributed to his decision to pardon this defendant. This assertion demonstrates either a complete failure of Bevin to review the record and medical evidence presented in this case, specifically evidence presented by the defendant, or it demonstrates a refusal to believe scientific medical evidence which has been admitted as reliable evidence in Kentucky for the last 20 years. Another argument in Sholetto's expungement request was the judge in the case allowed junk science and delayed disclosure expert testimony to be used in court documents state. Sanders countered in court filing. Sholetto's defense team agreed during the trial delayed disclosure was accepted in the psychological community. The prosecutor remained concerned Tuesday, this time at the outcome of the expungement request, because Sholetto's application was withdrawn before the judge ruled on it and Tuesday's hearing was canceled. Sholetto can always reapply, leaving the victim on edge, Sanders said. And I think that's the scariest part, especially when it comes to the victim, and they set the victim on edge. Now, like, look at his mugshot. This guy is smiling. He has a wicked smirk across his face, whether he means it or he's forcing it. I always say people who smile in their mugshots are some of the craziest people that you will ever come across. Now, they said this guy violated this girl since she from the ages of 9 to 12. That is, what, 3 years, over the course of 3 years. And they said he served a portion of his 23-year sentence. So I'm curious as to when he actually went to jail, because that's not really giving a timeline, or I guess you could say dated timeline of how long he's been, or of when he went to jail and when this occurred. It just said that he got pardoned back in 2019, which was now 2 years ago. But yeah, this Matt Bevin, this former governor, the fact that he has come up not once but twice in a day for me, because I'm recording this on January 19th. I recorded the one before this one on the same day, and his name came up twice. And he's pardoning some of the wildest, craziest criminals well, not the wildest and craziest, but some of the wildest and crazy ones I've come across today, because y'all know I come across a lot. Now, the person who attacked me in this said, if only we got on code like the former governor. I'm gonna say this again: when black people do get on code, let's act like we don't, have not, ever, are incapable of doing it. That's a lie. That is a myth. But when black people do get on code, we already know what happens. And I can always reach back to Judge Olu Stevens. He was a judge, I think, also out of Kentucky, who basically wanted a fair trial for the defendant who was black. And it went well because the defendant being found not guilty, and they got mad at him, and he got benched for 3 months without pay. And he's the same judge who was over Kenneth Walker's case when they tried to hit Kenneth Walker with attempted murder charges, and he was out and had them charges dropped in an instant. So don't say that we cannot or are not able to get on code, because we definitely are capable and have done so. But we all know what happens when we do it. It's a consequence, because we're supposed to just let our own just fall through the cracks, and theirs can just walk right on through. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end the video on that note, and I'll talk to you in the next one.